There you go. We'll call the June meeting of the regular board meeting of the Village of Lake George Board of Trustees to order, and we'll have Trustee Joe lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll take a motion to approve our minutes from past meetings. Special meeting on May 5th of 2025. I'll take these as a roll call because we've had some absentees. So Allison, you were not at this, you'd have to recuse. So a special meeting, May 5th, 2025. Take a motion to approve those minutes.
Make the motion.
Motion by trustee Filomeno. Is there a second?
You can second that.
Seconded by trustee Mentor. The regular meeting and public hearing on May 19th. Michael did not make that one, so I'll take a motion to approve. Oh, wait.
Did the vote.
I'll do the vote, yeah. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And any abstentions? Abstain, okay. And regular meeting and public hearing, May 19th. Take a motion to approve those minutes.
Make that motion.
Motion by trustee Filomeno, seconded by trustee Joe. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions,
I abstain.
okay. Special meeting, June 5th. Take a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Trifecta for Mr. Filomeno, seconded by Allison Miller. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay, and abstentions. Okay, voted aye on all those. You have monthly reports available for free of charge for anyone interested from the sanitation department, superintendent of public works, Caldwell Sewer District, financial reports, director of planning and zoning, treasurer for parking of Americade, fire department, and rec center. So I'd like to open proposed local law number 4, which is allowing the collection of refuse at an earlier time on the main street only. And keeping the same at 6 a.m. At the in the residential district, just to get the trash and trucks collected and back out so that they can get enough done during the day. Last year, we did a trial basis of it and we received 0 complaints. So in order to do it officially, we would be changing our local law. So we'll leave that open. Proposed local law number 5 is vehicle and traffic in parking areas. If you'll notice on Amherst Street, we eliminated some parkings as for requested by the fire department. And what else we got on here? This is the whole list, right?
Yes.
And then the east side of Smith Street is going to be designated no parking. People are going to hike the Prospect Mountain Trail and just littering cars all over the place there. So it's been a bit of an issue blocking some people's driveways, and so we're going to address that.
I drove up there today. Would it be possible to put parking spots there?
We've done that in the past. It's gravel, so
Yeah.
we painted them last year, and then now they're gone. But it is a temporary. We did angled spots in order to try to encourage people to park like human beings, and they don't.
Yeah, of course.
So we get them facing the wrong way. We get them blocking each other in. It's unfortunate. There are so many better ways to hike Prospect Mountain than that, but we're doing our best, and we probably will stripe them again.
Yep.
Beginning of the season.
Do we talk to the state about that? I mean, they do own the catwalk and so
Mhm.
on. And this is creating an issue for the village. Should we reach out to DOT?
Yeah, well, why not? Sure.
Well,
Never heard.
is that the town road though? Or is that our road?
And that point, it's our roads, the village, it's about a little ways down is where it changes over to the town.
Okay. So the
Before
taxes
the-
up there.
Before the dead end, or you mean?
Before the dead end, yeah, a couple of those lots are in the town, which is before the Northway, the way. the,
Yeah, gotcha.
Northway dissected the village and town boundary line. So we'll leave that open and then propose local
Real
law
parking, that would be a good thing.
number 5.
Between that.
Oh, local law number 6, I'm sorry, yeah. Number 6 is special event parking permits for the allowal of use of parking cars on residential properties during board specified special events. There will be did we say business license to be obtained and no cars after 11 o'clock, so no overnight parking. Other stipulations apply, so we'll leave that open, and I see we have a few people attending. I'd like to start with Kevin Lynch from Slick Fiber. Please, come on up, we're pretty informal here, if anybody needs a card, there's some people in the audience that probably haven't gotten one.
Do I need to talk somewhere that can be picked up?
The mic should pick you up.
Okay. So, good afternoon. My name is Kevin Lynch. I'm with a company called Slick Fiber. We're a fiber to the home internet provider. Give you a little bit of background on our company. We were actually founded in 1902 in Nickelville, New York, which is the very northern edge of the Adirondack Park. We still don't have a blinking light, so it's a very small little town. And we were the local phone company for about 90 years. And then in the mid-90s, we formed Slick St. Lawrence Internet Connect, that's where our name comes from. And we were an internet provider in St. Lawrence County. And over the last 25 years, we've expanded out from the county using some state grants. And right now we're using a lot of private funding. And our main goal is to come into communities that could use some competitive internet services. Because we recognize that a lot of the legacy internet providers have been for a very long time, and the infrastructure hasn't exactly kept up with the current needs. So we have recently built out fiber throughout the village as well as the town. So we come down from Warrensburg on the Diamond Point Road, down 9 into town, and we're in progress to connect to Glens Falls, which portions of are also coming up this month as well. And so we provide internet to the home. We also have phone service going back to our roots as a telephone company. Speeds from our base package starts at 200 megs symmetrical. So unlike cable internet, your uploads are as fast as your downloads, makes for a great experience. And right now we're offering speeds up to 2 gigabits per second. So it's a pretty good system. I just came from our first install down on Helen Street, so that's exciting. We're up and we're running. We have about 500 addresses that are serviceable as of today. And by the end of the month, that'll be up to about 1,100, including some out in the town as well. So we're here. We have 3 relatively local techs. They live in Warrensburg right now, but we'll be additionally hiring local workforce. So both our installation and repair technicians, as well as all of our customer service folks during prime shift are local. We'd love to get some in the region right now. We have about 3/4 of them are in St. Lawrence County and some in Franklin County. Our customer support teams all work from home as well, which is a great work-life balance for a lot of them who have young families that can be there. And yeah, so we're super excited. We're a growing company. We started the project in Lake George actually 3 years ago. It's taken that long to get through all the permitting and pole applications and getting the fiber on the poles, but we're super excited to turn up service and be here for the community. So I put my card over there. It's got my cell phone number. If you need anything, any concerns, you can give me a call. We try to be super accessible and meet your needs.
All right, thank you, Kevin. And I must say, Kevin has been very responsive through all of our correspondence that we've been having to let everyone know the Slick Fiber has a base station that's installed at our DPW garage, and in exchange for the use of the real estate, we will be receiving internet for this building, the visitor center, and the firehouse. So save a little bit of taxpayer money for the internet for the village buildings, and saves the chamber a lot, saves the fire department some money too. So,
And I'll just add that starting next year, we'll be on the tax rolls. So
Okay.
our infrastructure is taxed as real property, so there will be some revenue generated from that as well. That'll come back to the village.
excellent, great news.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
If you don't
Kevin. I
mind,
appreciate it. Yep, no, that's why I
And
took
that's
you guys
good.
first, and
Thank you.
Sharon, you're up next.
What was your
That's the, oops, got some cards.
Oh, okay.
How's your pricing compared to civil inspection?
So what I will tell you is that our starting prices are probably slightly higher than their promotional rate, but we don't do promotional rates. And I find they're very competitive. I'm glad to talk about that, but we have good pricing and we don't play the gimmick game where you have to bundle and this and that. It's just, that's the price, and our price has been very stable over the last several weeks.
And it's all symmetrical fiber.
I'll put some more card here, but
Yeah,
anything else?
which the spectrum.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sharon, you're up.
We're on.
You're up. I usually take people first so that they don't have to sit through the entirety of our meeting, so I'll move my way back as time progresses.
Thank you very much for taking us. Here, I'm going to give you the packet. We're here about the spade and neutering program for Lake George Village, which is definitely needed here. I think I can just pass.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so for the minutes, as you guys know, I'm Morgan Taylor. I live at 100 West Street and, name and address.
I'm Cheryl Brandt Ruza and I live at 150 Cooper Street.
And we're here to give you guys our proposal for a program to manage the feral cat colonies and populations in Lake George Village. As you guys know, managing our feral cats are important. It's a health and safety issue to have a bunch of cats running around that aren't fixed and aren't vaccinated for rabies. If a single cat gets rabies and starts giving it to the rest of the cats in the colony, it could be a very big problem very quickly. We are working with North Shore Animal League. They are a great organization who want to sort of work with the village to bring our cat population under control. They will be sort of taking cats that their volunteers and volunteers within the village capture. They'll bring them to vets they work with for low cost spaying, neutering, rabies vaccines, and other medical treatments as is necessary. Our main sort of plan is to work within the community. We already know several people who have been working with the feral cats in the village for a long time now to identify potential colonies and sites that need treatment. And then we will begin trapping there in order to fix the population.
So the money is really being used to support North Shore because it costs approximately, do you mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead.
It costs approximately $225 per cat to spade or neuter. It's much cheaper to neuter than to spade. God made it that way. Oops, this is on the thing. It was a little joke.
You're fine.
But anyways, that includes the preoperative care, the post-operative care, the medications, anti-flea, rabies, tipping the ear. So there's a lot that's involved in it. The cost, if you look at the cost of the proposal, it's in there for what they think would be reasonable to be able to spade and neuter and get us to be able to control the population of the feral cats.
Okay, we will take this under consideration and talk about it at our next meeting. If there's a wham, you caught us right at our new budget, so
Good.
no, not really.
We should have been a little.
We'll probably come
sooner.
here in February and we
Yeah.
could put it on for April, but we'll see what we can do. And it's possible to crowdsource some of that for maybe a partnership with the town, because I'm sure there's
Yeah,
as many, if not more.
we also have
in
attached some
town.
letters from members of the community and who support the plan.
Okay,
They're attached in the back.
right.
So
Thank you.
for every cat that you guys catch spay and neuter, cost the village $225.
Approximately.
Approximately.
Some
and that's
cats
just-
might be less, if they literally grab like a cat and all they have to do is fix it. It might be a little less, and if they have to do, as we said, like all of the different treatments, it might be a little bit more. I think the big thing is that every time we capture a cat, they're going to be vaccinated for rabies, which in the feral cat population should last them the rest of their lives, and that should, be good for our health and safety.
So I'm thinking you're saying the life of a feral cat is significantly shorter than Because it's what, 5 years for rabies shots that they last, or?
Yeah, and that's around the amount of time. They've done studies that showed that, what a year-long rabies vaccine for a pet cat,
Mhm.
it lasts about the length of a feral cat's life.
Good to know.
Do you guys have any questions? There's one of the papers in there is some statistics
Yeah.
that they provided
what I
to
was-
us.
Mhm.
And that's just people bringing cats to North Shore or calling because there's a ton of kittens and cats in one area. They're trapping, they spayed and neuter them. That doesn't mean our problem has been solved. It means that we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and
It's-
that they've been working in the village for a while now without accidentally, capturing people's pets. And they have like good connections within the village to find ferals and get them.
Yeah, the outreach program is very important as far as, not taking someone's cat on them.
So you're saying on Descow Street, the Woodbine area, you found 21 cats and 23, 24 they collected?
Yes,
Really?
some of the hotels have problems with the cat population. I mean, it's not aesthetically nice to have a resort area with all these cats that are roaming around. And they're a nuisance. I mean,
Yeah.
I love cats, I love animals, but they smell horrible and they're, defecating on people's lawns, in their gardens. It's becoming a real issue. I think it takes the whole community to make something like this work. And it's doable. We just have to figure out how much money we can put in to the program, how much the community support we can get to get this done. And it's an ongoing process. New York City has a program like this and it works.
Okay.
Is there any way that you could do it and where you ask like for people to like give funds? So like if the village residents are like nervous about it and say the village budget doesn't have the money to, if you guys captured, I don't know, 50 cats, because I'm looking here like at the number of cats that were captured that year. Is there any way that you can elicit like someone to, what's the word I'm looking for? Get to-
Funding
Yeah,
donations.
right? Is that the
Yeah, I
word?
mean, I would advise that you set yourselves up as a not-for-profit, so it'll be easier for you to take donations from
Yeah,
private
donations.
citizens. It's like a 501c, it costs a couple $100 to set up. Something that could be done very easily, which would make it a lot easier for you to accept donations, and it's a write-off for the people that do. Like if you go around to different business owners, they would be more inclined if they could write off the donation to an organization that's set up in that
Well, I
way.
think they can donate to North Shore. I mean, there's people that do that all the time.
Mhm.
I asked North Shore about this. People can donate to North Shore, but the funds they donate will go to all of
All of the
Washington.
area, right? It won't
So
go
it
to
would just
just the
through-
village of Lake George,
Yeah.
right?
They said that we could talk about potentially setting up something where it's village only, but they said they would have to work out the details, which I don't know if that's an actual thing they can do or not.
Right, yeah, no, that's why I would say, I would recommend you guys take the donations. That way you can concentrate on
Right.
just this community. Not that we don't care about other communities, but we really care about ours.
Right.
We still believe that the municipality should have a hand in helping manage the feral cat population
Mhm.
within the area too, though.
Not saying that they shouldn't, but like if you look at the numbers, like 2024 alone, you're looking at 30 to 40 cats, so like doing that by $225. So then you have to create a budget line for that to make sure that it's in the budget, and sort of pull it out after the budget's already been made might be challenging. That's all. And if it's a decent number, that's all I'm saying.
They, in their proposal, they did suggest a $10,000.
Yeah, I saw that, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But they also said they didn't, it's hard, the way they presented it is a little tricky. Because they
Right.
said 10,000, you put it in like a hold area and say, they won't go past that amount. But they would accept like increments of $500. And once that's used up, but I mean, that's like 2 cats, right? $500.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have to pay that all up front. It's something that we could pay in increments. Maybe, do something quarterly or something, an amount of money quarterly to, and if they know they're getting that money, they'll go ahead and assist with, the spade and neutering.
Right, go ahead and do it before they're paid, so they don't
Yeah.
have to like say.
I'm
"Time,
not
same time, I
speaking
don't
for
know."
them, but I
Yeah.
think we could work something out with them.
Okay. Yep,
It wouldn't have to be all at once.
we'll talk to our purchasing agent and treasurer and, I'll have an answer for you at our next meeting if we have, what do we have on schedule?
Right at this moment, we only have our regular meeting schedule.
Okay,
Which
yeah,
is
because,
July.
well, we don't have July out.
Yeah, I'd say it's not on there. It's
Sixth.
July,
the third,
15th,
July 15th.
Okay.
no, 14th,
I can
21st.
see it.
I can see
The
it now.
21st.
It's the third.
Third Sunday, third.
Yeah, it's a tiny little calendar. I hate that calendar. Yeah, it'll be July 21st, which is plenty of time left in the summer, and fall to, you know.
The
get this
biggest
program
problem
going.
right now is all the kittens are being born now. So we've already seen them. They come in the spring.
There's 8 on West Street. 8 kittens.
Really?
Yeah, and I know $225 sounds like a lot of money, but every cat we fix, that's like 20 kittens a year that we'll be getting rid of.
Right.
If it's a female, and if it's a male, who knows how much.
And
Right,
it may
they just
not
want-
cost $225. If they're being neutered, it's like $150. But I think they just factored in other costs that cost.
Right.
you
Well, while
know,
they
for
have them, if they
rabies
have
and-
something, yeah.
Or if they have to give antibiotics for a reason, because they're infected with all
It's
kinds of
gotta
things.
be.
Well, thanks again. for
Okay,
listening.
thank you
Hearing
very
us.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Young lady in the white blazer
Yeah, we got.
to support the cat thing, okay. Armin, you got something? I've got your emails and, go ahead, come on up. I don't wanna put you on the spot, but
No, actually, Una was very everything that's going on here. I wanted to get a feel of what actually happened there and what goes on.
Okay.
Before I voice all my concerns.
sounds good. I just, try to make you not have to sit through the minutia, but if you're willing, that's the more the merrier. All right, so we have some correspondence, resignation from the zoning board of appeals, from Bob Labar. Turns out he really hates the winter and they moved to Delaware. They've already moved, actually. So we have to, he's already tendered his resignation. Jonathan Newell has a new Tribute Tuesdays lineup. And I'm not sure,
Are we choosing? We.
No.
Before for Fridays, right?
Yeah, he had 2 fall out and the new one, the one that says new on the top, those are the 2 new ones with the star next to it. And it's replacing the Led Zeppelin and the Proudest Monkeys.
which
Okay, so now we're going with.
an Eagles tribute and, Stones.
Yeah.
Strand band,
Strand
plays
band.
mostly, Stones and Bowie. So no price change, which is good, just a lineup change. So do we need a motion to approve that? We already
Nope, we don't need
kind
that.
of give him the. And then vendor permits for the Adirondack Winery. Some of which we did enact the New York State Farm to Table Act that allows them not to pay. And it turns out that there's a lot of them that don't require, I mean, up until 2022, we didn't charge vendor permits for all of the vendors in the large events, so we started doing that, but still, I support the New York Farm to Table Act and as long as it's New York stuff and they grow it and produce it here, then they don't have to pay a vendor license.
And it's for this.
Yeah, it's just for this event only, right? If they want to come back throughout the summer, they gotta reapply and show us their certification, so. So resolutions to consider. Award the RFP for ATM to the highest bidder. Did we get that?
No, that's why I'm asking. What's happening is they're gonna be due on June 26th. And we won't have a next meeting till July. I'd like to be able to get your permission to award it to whoever offers us the most money. And
It's a 3-year contract. and
it's a
up
3-year
for-
contract, and it's, so that way they could install the ATMs on the 30th. And get them installed
Before
rather
going.
than waiting another month.
Yeah.
So at this point, I haven't received any bids. But assuming I assume a bit, I assume I'm gonna get a couple of bids. I know of at least 2 people that have voiced their interest, and I sent them off copies of the request for proposal. I'm just asking for your permission, rather than having to wait for the next board meeting it would be to whoever the highest offer is. Whoever's willing to pay us the most.
So I'll take a motion to approve allowing myself and Julie to award the bid to the highest bidder. Motion by trustee Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by trustee Mentor. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Shepherd Park Amphitheater, we have some soils to disturb, so geophysical survey and ground truthing, they call it. We're gonna be using ground penetrating radar to see if there's anything that we don't want to dig up or we want to dig up more carefully when we start our reconstruction of the park and bandstand. So that is typically, they're expediting it for us. I think it was like an additional $800 to expedite it, but that falls under this $6,400 proposal. So that they can get us the ability to file seeker and get us through SHPO in a reasonable amount of time, so we don't lose any time with the construction season in the fall. So I will take a motion to.
I'll make that
approve.
motion.
Motion by trustee Joe, second. Second by trustee Miller. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Would they be able to see if we're over like a burial site? Is that kind of?
That's kind of what,
figure
yeah,
out?
most of that's been disturbed a bunch of times,
would
because there were
imagine.
houses in the park and, you know, there was a couple
Jolly
bar,
Roger.
Jolly Roger was there. So most of it's dug up, but it's because of the sensitivity of the discovery up, on Mohican Street that, it's, they don't know what they don't know, so they're extra cautious on it, so
Right.
makes sense. We have a Adirondack Online Services, which is Verkada, that manages the fire doors so that they can have key fobs to allow entrance by members and staff. We looked at, you're recommending the 1, 3, or 5-year, Julie.
I would say 3.
The 3-year seems to be the best bang for the buck. This covers all of the doors, right? All 9 doors?
Mhm.
Okay. So they do monitor the times that they're going. Do they even monitor the person who the fob
Chief.
belongs to? I'm getting a nod from chief, yes. Okay, so yeah, it's important to be able to keep tabs
Oh, yeah.
on that. So it's a renewal, so we're gonna be doing this in 3 years, so, but this is the best rate that we got based on how much it would be a month, so. I'll take a motion to approve that contract.
I'll make that motion. We approve the contract with Adirondack Online Services
For the
Okay.
3-year.
for 3 years.
It's a motion by trustee Joe. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Miller. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. So we needed a new member for the planning board. Yes,
Before you move off the lot.
okay,
There is a couple of doors that do need to be fixed that since the locks have been down.
mhm,
Just to give you a heads up, the gear room door, the outer door by the chief's office,
okay,
that one, it's just the old slot door handles that are just kind of phasing out since they've been there since the building was was
Built
built,
in
so. they're
07,
just- They're
yeah.
just starting to go. They're slowly, we've had to switch over to different, the plates on the outside. Because that's the cheaper way to go compared to replacing the door handle itself, so I'll have to have him start quoting though, yeah, I think he was coming up with a quote for the one for the gear one. And the one by the flagpole and the one by the chief's office. So it's gonna be those 3 doors that are gonna need, we can't get in,
Yeah,
bobbing our way into any of those 3 right now.
no, and then you have to walk around the building to, yeah, I got it.
So look for those quotes to be coming through as well,
Okay,
okay?
all righty,
Thank
thank you. Just make sure we get the quotes before you do the work.
Yeah, no, the quotes, they'll be coming.
Okay. So we needed to fill, a couple of positions and now, Brian Clark. He owns the house. We actually gave him a beautification award a couple of years ago on the corner of Schuyler and
Super,
Um,
west.
Schuyler and West. He is a real estate agent. He's moved here, officially full-time and wants to, be a part of the community and has knowledge of planning and zoning and is willing to serve as, and we open position as an alternate for now, which, could change at any moment, the way the ZBA and planning board have been going, right, Jeff? So I'll make a motion to appoint Ryan Clark as an alternate for the planning board. Take a second.
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Joe. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, say nay. And now a motion to appoint John Ferrone as a permanent member of the ZBA following Bob LaFar's departure. That one filled in rather quickly, so I would take a motion to approve John Ferrone to the zoning board of appeals.
When I make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by trustee Mentor. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. So move fund balance from fire accounts to fire reserves. We do this with the monies that were unable to be spent in the last budget year, and they'll go into the fire reserves. I'll take a motion to approve that.
Make that motion.
Motion by,
Karen's got it.
yep,
I can second
trustee
it.
Miller made it and Joe seconded it.
Yep.
She beat you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. So, Tim, the Yaskawa variable frequency drives, we're kind of in a position where we can only buy these, so we would like to standardize to them for the purchase of the replacement drives. Tim, if you want to go through that, I know you and Michael have gone over it. You and I went over, it, but just for the rest of the board to know.
So the drives that need to be replaced were installed back in 2012. One of the drives has failed and needs to be replaced. The town recently, as of last year, based on our SCADA integrator, which is also the town's integrator, replaced all their drives with this Yashikawa drive. Since we work well, just logical to me, since we take care of the town collection system, that we also have pump stations that we standardize and use the same drives that we're using. So everything's same across the board, and one vendor to deal with. All my employees are familiar with the one brand of drive. The other 2 drives were, like I said, were installed in 2012, and it just makes sense to replace all 3 of them at the same time.
Yeah, ticking,
So,
with ticking time bombs, you don't want to have another one fail and obviously we've learned what their useful life is.
Yeah.
And it seems to be about 12 to 13 years. So I think if we do that, I think we should probably be smart to replace them every 10, whether they need it or not. Part of the asset management program, yeah. Okay, I'll take, well, let's see, Seltzer brand pumps for Schreier Martin, is that limited to your uses? Or is that
That's the same.
inclusive?
The town installed those last year.
Okay.
Their pump replacement project in both pump stations. I have to replace 2 pumps at the wastewater treatment plant for a septic receiving station. So, and I'd like to use Sulzer. The price is very competitive. It's actually cheaper than the flight pumps that are installed now.
Mhm.
So I'd like to I'd like to use those pumps up there as well, and at some point in Shepherd's Park, either the village will replace them or the town will replace them if they extend up the Bolton Road.
Right, yeah, right, we'll wait for that project to come to fruition.
Again, one vendor, same pump, everybody's familiar with it.
No, we're not gonna worry about them deciding in 3 years. we don't wanna do this anymore, right? They're gonna be, we're not gonna have to worry about them quitting or closing down or anything like that, right?
No.
Pretty,
No.
okay. I just don't wanna get where we're switching over and then all of a sudden,
They're gone.
Yeah.
TLA guaranteed.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take both of those in one motion if someone cares to make it.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Mentor
Seconded.
and seconded by trustee Joe to standardize to the Yaskawa variable frequency drives and the Sulzer brand pumps for the town two pump stations. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. So new hires, we have DPW full-time seasonal $18 an hour, start date of 6/18/25. Is that a person attached to this or?
Sharon.
Oh, Sharon, yeah, Sean.
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 Handwriting.
Is that related to Jim or no?
No,
No, different.
nope.
Never
No
seen that last
relation.
name before
Yeah, I
in my
know.
life, and now I've seen it twice. Okay. And then beautification is Crystal Frazier, part-time seasonal, $18 an hour, start date after school ends, so basically after next week, right?
Yeah, we couldn't get a specific date because they may keep her on for a couple extra days after school closes kind of thing. But it would be before our next board meeting.
Right, and Tim handed me one and all of you as well, where I put it, but I got it. Oh, they're in
Dave Muncy.
Dave Muncy. Just for complete transparency, Dave is the former mayor's son-in-law, but they are moving here from South Carolina to actually help take care of the former mayor. His daughter and him are moving back to the area. I believe they have an apartment on Caldwell Avenue or something like that, or, yeah. So, I gotta say, it's been a struggle. And it's not all Tim's fault. Up at the wastewater treatment plant. But we do need to keep the, and this guy has a CDL, so, the recommendation.
Several people.
Yeah. All right, so I will take a motion to approve those three new hires. And he can begin on July 1st, correct? Second, July 2nd? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that'll coincide with our pay periods.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Joe, is there a second? Second by trustee Miller. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. So Adirondack 5K. Carl Ewald, he's done this for several years. September 13th, it's usually, that's a little late. Isn't it usually right after Labor Day? Or maybe that's a different one. That's
That's usually this, the triathlon,
that's the triathlon. That's Tommy Tri. That's a different guy.
Yeah.
So Carl Ewald.
that's the weekend of.
Yeah. And then the Lake George In-Water Boat Show. Roger's son Scott has taken over. His father has done the in-water boat show for many, many years. Unfortunately, he has to retire due to his age, restrictions of, well, age-related restrictions. And then the firehouse is a no charge Sky's first birthday party for Corey White. That is a member, so there's no charge for that. The applications are all in line. The in-water boat show pays us a lot of money to
Well,
be
I would
there.
say, no, I don't think it's free. I think it's
Yeah.
$25.
Isn't it free for members?
Yes. Corey Wright's not a.
Oh, it's not a person that's on the fire department. They're just gonna rent the hall?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So then they do pay a fee. I just assumed it was someone you guys all know and serve with. But nope, it looks like they are paying. Okay, so I'll take a motion to approve those three. I guess we would call them events.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by trustee Joe, is there a second?
I'll second that.
seconded by trustee Jose. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. So now Octax. Adirondack 5K is asking us for $2,500. I think they actually didn't ask for. No, they did. They asked for 5,000 last year, if I remember correctly, but they actually, they take care of everything, you know, soup to nuts, you know, once, if you didn't go downtown during the 80K, 5K, you wouldn't know it existed. They're in, they're out, they clean up.
Yeah.
They're pretty good, and I would recommend that we would award them $2,500. I'll even put it in the form of a motion.
And I'll second the form of the
Seconded
motion.
by trustee Joe. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor votes aye. Now, Family Comedy Night, Caleb White, you'll recall, came to us a couple meetings ago. And we agreed to give him the $500 that he would need to rent Wood Park, but now he's got a couple of headliners. He wants to expand the show. It is still only one night, but he's got a bigger reach since then, and was asking us for an additional $1,500 to pay his acts. We've never really done a comedy show. I'm kind of anxious to see how it goes.
We know who the acts are.
Yeah, the local,
Benny Marks,
Benny Marks,
Kay Goodis.
yeah.
And two others.
I don't, I know they've
Anyone?
entertained at the comedy club in Glens Falls and Saratoga. And they've headlined in it's the one, there
I
is. a
think
comedy-
Benny might have been on the Tonight Show or
Yeah,
something
he
like
was on
that
the-
once or twice.
Yeah. Clean acts, though.
Okay. that's
Yeah.
what I'm-
Yeah, very family friendly. He's
Maybe.
dedicated to keeping it a family friendly
Mhm.
event. Hence the name Family Comedy Night.
And hence to reiterate that to some of the acts.
Yeah. So I'll take a motion to approve the
I'll make that
$1,500.
So they're getting a total of two then, right? Or are they going
Yes.
up to 15?
Nope, they're asking for a full.
For an
$2,000.
additional 15, so 2,000 addition, or
Right.
in total.
Wow, he really shot low.
Yeah, we're gonna take a
He
motion.
shot low the first
Yeah,
time.
well, it was.
Well, we already did.
We already did the other
needed,
one.
yeah.
Nothing. I think.
I don't know, yeah, I think you were sleeping.
Then you want a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll take a motion to approve the Family Comedy Night additional $1,500. Did you already make it?
Joe made the
Joe
made
motion.
it.
I made a motion.
I can second.
And trustee Miller will second it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. And Mayor votes aye. At this point, I would like to close the public hearings for local laws number 4, 5, and 6, and we'll take comment from anyone. If there is no comments, then we will take a motion to approve and a roll call vote. And also, if the motion could declare a negative seeker for each of them, I'd appreciate if you include that in your motion.
I will make the motion
No
to,
comments.
No comments.
Okay,
Motion to
oh, from
approve.
the, okay.
No, they left.
To approve, local laws 4, 5, and 6, and, declare a negative debt for, negative seeker.
For each.
Programs, yeah.
Okay, so motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Filomeno. Trustee Mentor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustee Mastro Domenico, how do you
Aye.
vote? Trustee Miller, how do you
Aye.
vote? Trustee Filomeno, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. We have a unanimous vote to pass those 3 local laws. So for the future discussion, residential uses on street level, there's in our law, in an attempt, I believe, years ago to keep the commercial district commercial, and not have residents living on Canada Street. The law reads that any property that is contiguous to Canada Street, cannot have a ground floor residential. And it's still, I think it still should, but I think it should be a distance from, either the center line of Route 9 or curb line, whatever we decide. The reason this is coming before us, and I'd hate to have it be considered spot zoning, because I dislike spot zoning very much, is the Cafe Vero building has the request to put residents in the storefronts that used to seem to have a rotating cast of characters that think they're gonna make $1 million in the village, and so what he's looking to do is turn them into lodging. And I'm not even 100% sure that we need to change the law, because depending on his use, if he's gonna use them as short term or as a hotel type room. Just, I'd like everyone to think about it, maybe take a ride around town, see where it could be a problem somewhere else, like notably for me, if it was too long of a distance, that would mean that the bakery that we all know and love could someday become first story resident, and I would like to avoid that. I think we would all like to keep the commercial district commercial, but and it just bear that in mind, that when we start talking about it, like first floor rental, it wouldn't be applicable to, like, say, the hardware store, the old hardware store, because that doesn't border Canada Street, doesn't touch,
It's not on
like,
that
all of
border.
those properties that were built into one, the large building that we see on the corner, they were all separate deeds and zones, and much to his, they thought it was foresight when they put it all together, they put it all into as one, which really kind of screwed him out of the ability to really make good use of his property. And so something to think about. I know Dan and I have been looking at it. I've driven around. You haven't taken my wheel down the street to see how far 75 feet is, and, you know, kind of see where we would like to see the residential part end or begin. And if not, then it doesn't go, but I just want to think about it, and we can talk about it next.
Can I just clarify?
Sure.
There's nothing that separates commercial from short-term rental in our code, right?
No, commercial zone allows short-term rentals.
Right, so they're,
So that's.
so it
another
could
point to
be
bring
like an
up.
Airbnb and not really go against that.
Right. It could end up being, that's right, if he's using it for
Gotcha.
lodging. I gotta
Okay.
read the law again. We should all read it again. It's with Matt Fuller to get a determination anyway, so we're working on it behind the scenes. And I think I had another handwritten note for us to consider. I got an email from Kathy O'Brien's daughter, Casey. She works at Warren County. They want to do an interdepartment wiffle ball competition at our rec fields after baseball season is over. So they want to know if it's available. Debonair was out today, so or else I would have dates, but it's a Thursday night in the summers, the weeks during July and August. The kids will be out of there, and if they are doing an all-star team, they'll be basically Saturdays and Sundays with some practices, but we can work around it for our friends at the county if they decide to, and then we can talk about either getting the fees covered or waiving them altogether. I haven't made an offer to do either. We can discuss when they come in and fill out an application. They just wanted to know what our thoughts were and the availability of it. Obviously, they'll have their own insurance and hopefully their own wiffle balls and bats, and it'd be interesting to see a little bit
That
of
sounds entertaining.
camaraderie and team building efforts. I think that's kind of a nice idea.
Yeah, and it's not a one and done, it's a league,
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna be like a league that they,
Thursday night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll put a team together and play against them. I don't know. So yeah, there's that. So let's think about that. When we get an application, you'll probably see it next. Next
great.
month.
As far as the housing on Canada Street, first floor.
Oh, it's not Canada Streets. I wouldn't change it to be on Canada Street. I'm gonna say distance from Canada.
Okay, well,
and
no,
Still be a
I-
contiguous property.
Right, only because there's only one property that I can think of. I don't know if it was ever actually a business.
Mhm.
It's all the way down by the Adirondack Pub and Grill. There's that one building on that, there's a one.
Oh,
house.
yeah, that one that's just been there. That would be grandfathered in.
Right, okay, that's, I just wanted to
yeah.
make sure that.
That was before we had
Not
any
that
zoning
anyone,
laws.
yeah, not that anyone's ever done anything in there, and I don't even know if
I'd
anyone's.
chase
living
them
there.
down to fix the concrete.
The other one, I think was a business in the
There's a
front
couple.
door.
Yeah, they had a store that was a florist.
Yeah, in the front,
Bill
and the
Coletti's
apartment
wife.
was in the back or something
Yeah,
and
yeah.
upstairs, but I was more concerned with that one house.
Mhm. Yeah, it's sort of a standalone.
Yeah, and the other
Yeah.
one that got it, they don't plan on doing that, the one next to the olive store, olive oil store.
It's like,
The one that was just bought, the old fortune teller.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that one's spot, and it's actually commercial use only. They were looking at doing residential upstairs.
Right,
But I don't know if they pulled those plans back. They had applied for DRI and then didn't make the
Couldn't
cut
get it and
eventually.
they haven't done anything with it since.
Right, they're started getting it, I think, but, hopefully they'll make something nice there.
But we'll just have to keep an eye on that building now that it's empty though,
Oh, yeah.
only
Yeah.
because.
Oh, Dan's all over it, and Jen,
Right.
they're all over it. Definitely don't want any cats
pigeons
living
and
in there.
Stuff are starting to.
So
pigeons,
water
rats.
changes,
Fucking
transfers and audits,
Yeah, do a lot of damage.
take those together.
Just so you know, I did give you a new copy of the updated audit. What happened was there was one vendor that we had put in to pay. And then we ended up, the motor that we bought didn't fit, so we are returning it. So we canceled out that one. So the new total is like 5,000, a little less than $5,000 less than what the original audit was.
That was Tim's fault as well.
Sorry, I was reading.
Oh, Greg, I didn't see you back there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you wait the whole meeting. And I guess we lost Carmen anyway, so come on up. Oh, wait, let's do the transfers and audits first. I'll take a motion to approve both water changes.
I'll make
transfers,
the
and
motion.
audits.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and second by Joe and Michael respectively. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, say nay. Motion's carried. Maybe votes aye. Greg, come on up. Sorry, man, I didn't see you behind Keith.
That's okay. Good afternoon, Greg Teresi. I'm one of the owners of Tiki Tours. So obviously, I've had a business operation down in the village for the last 7 years. And taking feedback from my captains, my deckhands and my booth workers, one thing, especially with everything that you all are doing down in Shepherd's Park, we're interested in doing would be umbrella and chair rentals for the visitors of Shepherd's Park. In order to be able to do that, I need a location to be able to sell those goods. Talk to the folks at the Beach Club about potentially putting a booth right outside their building. There would be potentially storage underneath that front deck, the lakeside deck, and potentially building a booth that could house some umbrellas and house some chairs. In order to be able to do that, currently, and I help negotiate the license agreement on behalf of the Beach Club with the village to expand. They had some decks, if you may remember, that were encroaching village land. So at the suggestion of Fuller, we entered into a license agreement for 5 years, I think a renewable 4 times, so 20 years in total. But that license agreement is restricted to just decks. So what I'd be looking for this board to consider would be expanding upon that license agreement that would allow us to put up a retail booth that we could sell. I mean, I'd like to start with umbrellas and chairs and see where it goes. I don't know if there's a need for it. I mean, anytime I go to a beach community, I'm looking for somebody else that's bringing umbrellas and chairs down to the beach rather than me lugging them down. It might be something that catches on, it might not. But I've talked to my business partners about it. They're interested in doing it. We think it might be a nice amenity that adds to everything else that you all are doing and some of the other business owners are doing in that area.
We talked about cabanas. Are you still thinking about that in the unswimmable portion before we turn it into a park?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if, to me, that's unutilized, underutilized.
Yeah.
Area. You know, when Blaze put a fence around it and said nobody could enter, I thought, my God, you know, this is prime real estate. It's and there's got to be uses. So, yeah, I'd certainly be interested in being able to utilize something that would just bring more people to that area, bring them into that area as a more convenient way of vacation. You know, the way I envision it is, you know, somebody staying at the Holiday Inn or one of the Kenny properties or Kenny Mentor properties, you know, calls up and says, hey, I want to, you know, pick up my lunch from the beach club. I want to, you know, my umbrella and chair down here. And, you know, we've got a runner that goes out and runs it out, or a cabana or what have you. But crawl, walk, run. So, you know, kind of start with umbrellas and chairs, see if that catches on, see if, you know, the people at the Marriott, the people at the Holiday Inn and some of the other bigger hotels, or even the smaller hotels take advantage of it. and see where it goes.
There should be plenty of properties that don't have beachfront,
Yeah.
that could
Yeah.
assist in something like that. You get a cabana for a half a day or something like that. You reserve it at your front desk, they call you. That could work, it could work. I know in the essence of time, this would normally be something that we would treat like the carriage rides. You know, a person would bid on that, or we'd have a minimum bid for the use of, or the ability to be, because we wouldn't want people competing down there. So we would wanna have it be bid out, but in the essence of time, I think we could probably talk a little more and come together on what would we charge for the season, or what the minimum, we rent out a booth of ours because of the couple of years ago, I like to call them the parasail wars happened. If you could recall that. They, so we ended up renting that little shack for and they were competing of like $15,000 for the scene, because they didn't want people selling tickets on both sides of this would be a little different than that. I don't think it needs to be that much. I don't even know what you would expect to make, but I wouldn't want to bankrupt you right off the bat. So I mean, I was thinking if we wanted to talk a little further about it, we could, do it for, say, 2,500 for the first year and then base off next year's bid off of sales. Like you obviously let us know if you thought it was worth doing. And I don't know if that's a low number or if that's too high.
I don't know anything about the number. I'm curious if there's any, I think it's a great idea. Ultimately, I think providing more service there is what people are gonna want. But is it a sticky situation legally to have an exclusive vendor there?
That's what the
Well-
bid process takes care of.
Gotcha.
And then depends if it's being rented on village property or private property, right?
Well, it would be all for rental on village property. It would be village the chairs would be up for the concert
Well,
or
yeah,
for
but
the
if the
beach.
booth or whatever they were renting it out of,
They're renting them out of leased village property.
oh, okay.
That's the little area that sticks out that the beach club,
Right.
We entertained.
Yeah, so I should.
So that's why
drive
I
it a
wasn't
little
sure if
bit.
that's beach property, beach club is already paying for it.
Yeah,
So we couldn't charge again for it.
no, but we could charge for them to use, say, the beach chairs or rent the beach chairs to our beach or put cabanas on our beach.
Service.
So what
Make it a
Ray is
license,
saying is
okay.
to put a cabana, a physical cabana on the beach and keep it there, because that's not something you can take,
Oh, I
Hold
was
up.
just, I was thinking of your umbrellas right now and chairs.
So the umbrellas and chair idea, the sales location would be on licensed property that the beach club already has
Right.
licensed for the next 20 years. So that's, if you're walking down Montcalm, you're about to hit the village pier before you hit the intersect of the boardwalk. On the right-hand side, there's that fire hydrant and I think there's a flagpole there.
Yeah, there is a
Flagpole, storm runoff catch. So there's probably about, I'd say 8 or 9 feet between the deck of the beach club to the end of the licensed area. That's really just crushed stone that's there now predominantly, other than the fire hydrant and the pole. So what we would do is build up,
Structure
sales
or something,
structure in that area that gives us the ability to store underneath, have a countertop, a roof to keep the employees out of the way. And then those would be rented to, you can grab and go. You can take it to whatever park you wanted to take it on. So there wouldn't be any exclusivity. What the mayor's talking about is with cabanas, obviously that's not something you can carry wherever you want. So
Right,
That's leasing village property.
That's
that
right,
would be,
cabanas,
that
okay,
would
yeah.
be leasing village
Right.
property. I'd be interested in doing both. I'd be interested in, at the very least, doing the umbrellas and chairs. Because I think that's a little less complicated, and certainly,
I'm thinking cabanas
Something
would
to
kind
do.
of be might be a one-off thing if we get into construction of the stormwater park, which is the only reason I was suggesting it is because there might not be another opportunity to do it again. I would be interested in it as a test pilot to see if that is working. If that does work very well and people really love it, then maybe we change the design of the stormwater park. We still have a stormwater park, but because it's funded as such, but we make it a little more convenient to the public to rent out cabanas on the shore. So it won't be a beach anymore, but it'll be on the shore. So
Right.
it's just something I was thinking.
Oh,
of
yeah,
as
no,
far as,
I think it's a great idea.
revenues we didn't have going into this year.
Right.
I like it.
Can,
You can speak. on
Another part of this also, what we're saying about the booth on there, what Greg was saying is that, pursuant to local law 5, we voted on parking. Parking down there, I've done my best, I've yelled, I've called Jim, I've done several tickets are down there. So local law just ratifies the fact that no one could park down there. The booth just helps out even more. The issue, especially with parking, is Tim will tell you. In emergency, your vehicles can't get down there to the pump station. Also, a lot of times people are blocking the hydrant itself the night of the fire.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, last year, that if we needed to use that, there was a vehicle down along the rocks. Over there now, by having a booth, you pretty much just get rid of any parking that's even down there for everyone to even try it. To park down there. We have 8 signs down there, if people still try. I've just got accustomed to walk in the morning, so, well, that's just a residual of it. It's also the idea came about to block it off, totally, from anyone to even try on there.
we could, I mean, I know you bring bands and stuff down
Yeah.
there, but you know, they unload and load.
Yeah, we met with Jim and, they allow the unload, down there, that's about it. It's supposed to be down there,
But if we say pillars in, then one of them was removed.
Like the bike.
Well,
paths.
well, yeah, well, I mean, we've had bollards that we've
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
In that location. It's tough when you've got a couple of successful businesses that take deliveries. And the bollard is a little tough. I think it got hit more than I think it, was actually removed. Yeah, the sheriff's actually hit it.
there's some.
But yeah, so I mean, we'll just go back to,
Yeah, no,
talking this through, so I mean, I don't wanna talk until you just, for the sense of talking,
No,
I'd
no,
rather
no,
make
no.
a decision.
Oh,
and
I
see what
know,
we
it's
can-
like I said. I'm
What
just trying to
exactly are you
figure
looking
out-
to rent or sell?
Rent.
Rent, okay, good, so it doesn't generate.
But if we
trash.
rent them in that area,
Or
No,
buy something
make the
immediately.
opportunity.
No,
People
yeah,
swim
yeah,
in the
yeah.
non-swimming area.
You know, we have a staff.
Well, they have, there
got
would
staff
be a
down there anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
condition that says no swimming right now, so it'd be an
you know, we have
additional,
staff come
and people get
you know,
kicked out of
right,
that all
rent
the time.
pool, you know,
Right.
want us to bring
The
it up,
lifeguards are used to, yeah, no,
Cabanas
set
there,
it up
but
on the
that
beach,
would,
set
that,
it up on the beach.
entice people to
And then
swim.
Obviously.
I don't think so.
one of
I
the
mean, they
things
sit
we
there
do
now.
is-
okay.
They're
I-
told once or twice
Yeah.
and then they, oh, I can't swim.
I
We
get
want
that.
want it to.
I,
be-
I understand
make it look
about
good,
cabanas, I was just trying to figure a way
Mhm.
of us not
and even
having to
like the
do
mayor said,
anything.
you know, concert events.
Oh, right,
was
and the
renting
extra
those
work for
big
anybody.
If they were
Yeah.
rented off property that's already, then they could be rented and should see how that goes.
Mhm.
And then go the next step. You know,
Yeah, we
more
could,
than
like Greg said, crawl, walk, run.
Yeah,
If we're talking about just chairs and umbrellas and maybe setting them up on the beach or in the park for somebody, I think it's.
because they might set the chairs and beaches up there anyway.
I don't know, that's a good point. I'm curious about the size of the umbrellas. It's a standard,
Yeah.
6 foot,
standard,
6 foot.
eight, yeah.
6, 8 foot, whatever they are. You have a little more exposure to this than I do.
Most of our umbrellas, I think, are they're from Telescope. 8 foot is a pretty normal size
Yeah.
for a beach umbrella.
Mhm.
Not sure how many would fit on that.
On that
Beach.
beach, yeah. I mean, you can use an umbrella and other things. I would recommend the beach style ones that kind of hug the ground. And then people.
Like a canopy one,
Kinda
like
canopy
a
one,
leaf-
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, that's gonna be where, we gotta figure out what works before.
Right.
And it takes
Yeah.
a bit of investment to figure that out, then.
And that was kind of my, maybe buy 5 of this style, 5 of that style. All fold up, all collapsible. And just see where the demand is, again, if there's the demand, right?
Right.
My hope would be to work.
I think
with
the chairs would
I think
do
the
better
chairs would do
than,
well with the umbrellas is a good idea on the beach. You see it in Florida or wherever, anywhere on the
Mhm.
ocean with the beach.
Yeah.
That business exists.
yeah.
It would be, it's just such a small area and just like, I frequent there so often, like I could tell you, like if I walked down and I wanted to rent an umbrella, I'd be like, there's nowhere for me to put it, cause it's already full. So that's the one thing that I just get concerned for you, like, if you do it, how is it going to, if it's full, where do they
Yeah.
put it, things like that, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, like, so I'm not you know, the part of the pitch is,
Right.
you take it, you know, if you want me to put it in your car, I'll put it in your car,
Okay,
right? You know, if they want to bring it back to their house and rent it for the day.
so
or
they're going wherever with it, it doesn't. have to
Wherever,
be-
you know, hey, you know, but ideally, we're right there. You know,
Right.
not only for the beach, but also for the events that hopefully are gonna be occurring at the amphitheater.
I would think you'd have two types of chairs, the low beach ones and then the, you know, regular
Yes.
folding chairs that you bring camping for like up on the,
Yeah,
on the amphitheater. Yeah, like, oh,
Just trying
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
you know, cater to the tourism community that's
Yeah.
looking to lug less stuff down to the beach.
Yeah.
Generate less garbage.
you could try it.
A lot of people go into.
I said, why not try it?
Dispose of
Yeah.
We'll pump the brakes on the cabanas until we could, maybe Greg and I'll sit down and hash something out for like the next meeting, but I mean, it's the beginning of July, so you still kind
Yeah.
of wanna
That's why I'd wanted to get something going.
Yeah.
So we
I
could
would-
do something now.
then expand
You
upon
know,
it.
the
just to
umbrellas
see
and
how-
chairs are probably a lot easier than trying to get a cabana
Yes.
going where,
Yeah, I agree.
you know,
Yeah, plus we don't, I mean, I know you said you'd take the cloths off of them at night, the cabanas, but that's that's a house for somebody,
Oh, yeah.
as we've
A
seen.
whole nother layer of.
no, the only thing
complexity.
is how far down would we go with the umbrellas and how, we'd have to figure
Probably to
something out.
the designated swimming area.
So that,
So you'd probably fit about 6 or 8 cabanas. And if we went down to the beach and kind of walked it off a little bit, we figured maybe 6 or 8 cabanas.
umbrellas and what about umbrellas?
You're renting them to people, they can do what they please with them, I think. was-
Well, the umbrellas, you do what you please. The cabanas are gonna be stay put. They're
Yeah,
not
but
gonna.
you, I know we want them so far off the water though, so the guards could still see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would definitely be along the head wall.
Yeah,
You're talking about the umbrella.
umbrellas and chairs,
Yeah,
Just
there's,
the umbrellas, you can't really control where people are gonna put them.
but they can't go past the lifeguard chair.
On the beach,
Stop it,
yes,
yes.
separately, just for.
You know, then
Yeah, well,
I
I'm sure
would
that's
want the
what we would-
opportunity for you to go a little further
Well, it's.
instead of just that area.
Again, it's, I mean, you know, whatever the rules of the beach are what they are.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
Well,
check
we'd
with
have to
Department of
just
Health as
stipulate
well.
that, yeah.
Corey's very helpful and
Yeah.
responsive.
But I mean, I'm all for it to get something going, but like I said, we just definitely want to see how far and if we can go into the beach area where we'd have to go with the.
So to be able to dip my toe in the water, so to speak, with the umbrellas and chairs, I need this board to be able to consider modifying the current license agreement that the beach club has. Currently, the language allows for the decks, exclusively the decks related to the restaurant. So I'd like to expand the license agreement to allow for a retail booth to provide for umbrellas and chairs. That way I can,
Just adding a use to it.
adding a use to that agreement.
But that would be towards his lease, right? Jose's,
It's towards
Right.
the
Jose's
lake,
license.
the
Right.
lakes, beach houses.
The agreement is
Correct.
5. The current one is for 5 terms, right? Or 5,
Five.
total of 20 years.
5
20
years for
For
renewals,
renewals.
but it can be canceled at any time.
Yes, also if it changes. But yeah, we'll talk to Fuller about it, Matt Fuller about it, and in the interim, but I would think you really should be okay. To get started for this season.
Yeah, definitely, no issues with going starting umbrellas and chairs, and then let's see where we roll into the cabanas.
Yeah, let's see how the umbrellas and chairs work before we get
Yeah, I don't
into-
wanna hold you up either, so that's why
Yeah,
we can get
yeah,
that,
gets us-
as long as the
gets us a
lawyer
little
says
further.
Get
it's
you
okay.
started, and
So I
then
guess
if I
then-
gotta, hear bad news from Matt, I'm gonna say, did you keep your receipts for those, Greg?
No problem.
I guess, and does the language matter if it's a sublet thing or if it's,
I think it did not specify if it was a sublet, you know the agreement pretty well.
like, would you be subleasing it from the
Yes,
beach
correct.
club?
Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there is something that prohibits him from subletting to anybody. So those would be the two provisions that would have to change. A, you know, I'd have to be able to sublet to, you know, an entity that is providing this type of service, and B, that allowing for, instead of just the decks, allows for a retail booth for umbrellas and chairs.
That or Jose's renting chairs and umbrellas.
But you never know.
But you never, he'll have your couch, he'll buy them tonight. All right,
You need to worry
that's,
about
do we
tonight,
need
he's
a
walking.
motion for that, or just,
I would
just
say
add the board?
based on approval by Attorney Fuller.
Yeah.
Of
And then
your proposed. I'll get that.
You can recuse, yeah. So, yeah. Motion,
I'll make that motion of what we need to do to get the ball rolling on.
provided Attorney Fuller
Provided
allows
it's
it.
legal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will second that motion.
Second by trustee Mentor. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay, abstentions, recusals,
I think so.
okay.
All right.
All right, thanks,
All right, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Mark. Late entry,
Yeah.
come on up. We're almost done, we're almost wrapped up, so you came just in time.
Well, I might have missed it.
You actually almost did, if we didn't yammer about cabanas for a while. Introduce yourself to the board, I'm not sure if everybody knows you, please.
Mark Barrington, I own the Pollard Village.
Okay.
Carmen was supposed to be,
He was here and then he left.
yeah, so I was trying to catch him, I was busy, I had the beach open today, so I didn't get out till 5:30.
Mhm.
So we spoke a while ago about, well, a couple weeks ago, about doing something different to bring more people here. I don't know what Carm covered.
He didn't, I didn't get to him, he said he wanted to wait.
To you.
I offered to let him speak at the beginning of the meeting instead of making him wait through the whole meeting, and he said, no, I'd rather see how this whole operation goes, and then kind of like that, something. And then he walked out.
So
He did stick around for a little while.
So I'm gonna speak for myself, and other people in the village, business owners. So we spoke a while back, and I was explaining to you that, we need to do something to attract more people to Lake George. Now, I know that Lake George is all about family and tradition, and that's what it's been about for years and years and years. But then a lot of stuff started leaving, the other day I'm looking at the commercial for the old amusement park that was here.
Gaslight Village.
Gaslight Village. I was looking at it, it somehow popped across my Facebook feed. That was amazing, and that would keep people coming here for years and years. And then I guess, with times, things, fashion out and stuff like that. So I was really looking forward to doing something that'll bring people here. Like my one idea was a hot dog eating contest.
I like
Spoke
that
to you
idea.
about that.
Mhm.
I'm still in the works of doing it. Probably won't happen until next year because of how busy everything is. I want to do the bounce house event inside Charles O. Woods.
Mhm.
And then what I want to do is take that money and then flip it to a carnival in October. Because everybody leaves in October.
Mhm.
A lot of our locals, they don't even like coming to Lake George during tourist season. Like nobody, I'm talking anywhere around, nobody likes it. It's Warrensburg, down to Queensbury, Glenswald, nobody comes here. So that, when tourists are all gone, actually bring the locals here, and I really think that other entertainment choices like that would help. Now, me as a restaurant, I know you guys have the, and this part I'm gonna speak on for Carl. So me as a restaurant and then him as a crafts vendor, a craft store. When the craft events happen in the park, it draws all the traffic away from Beach Road. Anything that happens in, what's in that park?
Shepherd.
Shepherd drags the attention away from Beach Road, right? Which I can understand. So I'm just gonna say it like this from a different standpoint. So I used to vent, that's how I started, right? And there was people that I know that they'll sit there, they'll vend all day in an event, right here in Charles O. Woods. And they'll sit there and say, they'll make like $5,000-6,000, right? And then now 7% comes back here, right? They don't write down 5,000. They write down whatever they feel like writing down, so they can pocket the rest. Because usually they have to pay a percentage to the promoter.
It depends on the promoter, but sometimes they do a charge and then other times they keep the charge down. Obviously, from vending, they keep the charge lower by charging a gate.
Right.
So they charge the vendors less if they get a gate, because
But
then
they-
they get $5 from everyone that comes through the
But
door.
then, like, craft producers, they charge a percentage of our sales.
Right, he didn't charge a gate.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he did charge a
He
gate too?
charged $10 at the gate,
Okay.
plus 10% of our sales, plus $200 for us to actually be in.
Oh,
So in times like that, these people, they come into town, they swoop, take all the money, and then they leave, right? So now your 7% that you're actually supposed to get,
well, we don't get 7, we get Slightly, a lot less than 7. We are not a city, we can't preempt our sales tax, so we get what based on our assessed value of the village. We still get it, about 800,000 a year, but not,
So,
not the 7% that the state takes.
so the point I'm trying to make is, they're not even paying the full.
They're
$7.
not paying the full thing,
You
right?
know, so it leaves it to us who has to pay the full 7 because we have credit. We have to pay
Right,
it all
yeah.
day. So it leaves it to us to sit there and pay that. So we don't see it as fair that, you know, they get priority, because if I, let's just say I come in here and I say I wanna add color to my sign, cause like right now, I'm not even running my actual logo. You know, I had to alter it because of the colors and everything.
Permits.
For the permit,
Mhm.
right? So now, these people, they come into town, they get to throw all things up with crazy lights and stuff like that, and distract all the people. You know, and now it's like, oh, we're going over here to sit there, because, you know, they just attracted the lights, that's how the casinos work, you know?
Sure, sure.
All that, so.
Bells, whistle.
So they get all the money, then they leave, but then we're stuck, you know, with, you know. That's why right now I'm selling $2 hot dogs. Why am I selling $2 hot dogs? This is like Georgia, I should not be selling $2 hot dogs, but I have to sell $2 hot dogs just to get people in the door. Because they're gonna wrap around that corner and they're gone for it. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's one thing that I ask. I don't care about the barricade and blocking the block down. I don't care about that. I don't care about
Oh, I know Carmen
parade.
does.
Huh?
I know Carmen does.
Yeah, because it's different with.
Retail.
Yeah, so I don't care about locking the block down. I don't care about the parade. The parade was awesome. I got laid a couple of times with the things. That was actually really cool, you know, but what I do care about is when you have those things in the park, I believe that people, shops in a village should have first attempt to actually participate in this, because we're here.
Well, we do offer any brick and mortar store shopkeeper to participate in any of the events in Shepherd Park.
Nobody knows that.
Well, actually, I know one person that definitely knows it, and that's Maya from the Silver Mine. She does occasionally every fireman event. Isn't the Silver Mine have a booth in your they did in ours for years, and they do she does in Kelly's Angels and the Rockin' for Ronald. Couple of them. Mustafa is another one. He set up a booth. Mustafa set up a booth last year. Yeah, he brought a bunch of t-shirts up and
Did.
yeah,
So where do we find this information that we can actually?
Cabernet upstairs.
What do you sell?
I sell hot dogs and lemonade. And I sell a bunch of other food stuff. So I own donut shmona, so I can bring my donuts there. I can bring anything. You know, anything.
Yeah,
that-
yeah, talk to Donnie. She's got 2 great
I have
events.
one coming this weekend and I have another one in August.
In August month. No,
August, it's the third week in August, the third weekend in August.
But
So that might alleviate some of your concerns is, I don't know, how it's not really a secret, right? We always offer them to the vendors, like, you know, Maya's been doing it for years. Mustafa
But
started
Maya's
last
been
year.
here for a while too.
Maya's been
so-
here for a while, yeah.
So maybe it's
Mustafa started it
something-
last year, so you
Yeah.
guys talk to Mustafa, I'm sure,
So maybe it's something we could
quite often.
no.
Notify.
certain
You know-
people- Certain people have learned to just like, not my business, but.
Oh, okay.
For certain reasons, like.
I thought you guys,
I'm a
yeah.
businessman,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, and it's good business and it's bad business, so I try to stick to.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, anyway, so he did have a booth there
Yeah,
last year.
But maybe
Brought a
we
bunch of
could send
t-shirts.
notification out.
Killed
to
it.
the-
Yeah, we should.
Especially the newer stores,
And one
newer
other-
shops.
And last thing, this is a question that I constantly get asked from customers and people, when are fireworks? They never know, so like, people came to me all Thursday, there fireworks today, I'm like, I don't know.
Thursday at 9:30.
No, but it
After-
starts.
It
July.
starts after
Oh, it
4th of July.
starts after, well, they're gonna be on this 3rd and the 4th this year.
The 3rd and the 4th. and then
Yeah,
every
it's
Thursday
important to
after
me
it's
that they have to be on the
And then
4th
if
of July.
there
not-
happens to be a special event that's going on.
There might be on the
Applying their
5th
own.
too, if the Steamboat Company has their.
Those are
right.
the ones the village, so, you know,
So like when Steamboat Company does it, I understand, they do it, they take the barge out further.
It's their
Well,
barge, they can
yeah.
do whatever they want with it, really.
they do it for dinner cruise on
Right.
a Saturday night or something like that.
Or a wedding, sometimes a wedding
Yeah.
will do it. On a random Saturday, you know, I actually got to the point where I have a really good relationship with the fireworks. There's only one fireworks company,
Yeah.
but the guy Jeff will call me and say, look, you got fireworks coming in the village tonight. Otherwise, we would never know.
So.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we can like figure that out, and so we can.
I post them on our Facebook page.
It would be great if like I have my own Facebook page, I have my own Instagram, and it'd be great if I can like share that. You know, because I don't see any of that. Like I said, when the firemen did the fireworks, nobody knew. It was like everybody's closing up shop. No, they're supposed to do fireworks tonight. How do you know? Because this customer came in and told me they're gonna do fireworks. Well, how did they know? Well, they called around and spoke to somebody, then they called Lake George Village and Village didn't know, and then it just,
It's because it wasn't our event, right?
you know, so. if
But
it-
yeah, we'll try to do a little better with the social media presence. I actually had a conversation about that today with, hey, someone that's on the call. Just to get our reach out there a little bit more, and it goes beyond just, you know, 2 of our employees posting on social media for us and limited to just Facebook. So we're looking to expand into like what, Instagram, and what else do they use? Snapchat or something like that. I don't know. That is a direct relation. I don't know enough about it. I'm kind of
Old.
a little old.
Old.
Thanks, Joe. But
I'm old.
social media is not my thing, but it's someone else's, and it should be a little more for the village. But yeah, we're working on getting a little more. We do have a new website, so that we do link to our Facebook page too, because that's easier to adjust. We have to know by 4 o'clock. I have to let them know by 4 o'clock if we're not gonna have fireworks
Gotcha.
every Thursday after 4th of July to Labor Day, due to rain.
Okay.
So then we just put that out, and lakegeorge.com has been very helpful with us.
Okay.
They do a blast, and sometimes it's an email blast. Eventually it might end up being a text blast if you subscribe. So yeah, we're working on getting a little more modernization. Taking credit cards upstairs and over the counter. We got caller ID on our phones last year. That was a big move for
That was
us.
a big one.
That was a big move.
But reach out to the offices upstairs if you have any questions, if there's anything
Yeah.
going on or something. Don't,
And then talk
we're
to
here
Donnie.
for you too, so.
If you get a chance, she organizes the 2 firemen's, craft sales or craft vendor things. So yeah,
events.
there's a lot we can do to help each other.
Okay, so I thank you for your time.
And where about you
Thank you.
located?
Right on Beach Road, right.
Beach Road under the.
Yep.
The fort there.
Yes.
Great.
Come
Thanks,
down and
Mark.
visit
Thank
you.
you.
Good to see you again.
Same here.
All right, guys. 6 o'clock. I'm getting hungry. We did transfers and audits, water changes.
We
Yeah.
did. So, just go over the schedule for next month for meetings.
Regular meeting is Monday, July 21st. If anything changes with the construction deadlines or any approvals that are needed for the bandstand, I will call a special meeting if I need to. I don't want to put anybody's, you know, we're not trying to sneak anything through or anything like that. We need these approvals to get through, like our SHPO and seeker and the one we did tonight, in order to not slow down our construction start date, because I'm afraid that I don't want to run into next year. I mean, we got the new tent up. I hope you all have seen it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty nice looking.
You'd
as
like
tents
for
go.
graduation,
Yeah, well, we missed,
preschool.
no, we got the preschool
Yes,
graduation,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
I know,
Utilize the preschool.
We missed
graduation.
prom,
From,
Oh,
but that's okay. But anyway, so just be on the lookout for a text message from Julie saying, hey, we need to have a special meeting. It'll be 3 days from when she texts you, because we have to give the paper time to post it, but
well,
Just-
it might be more than that, yeah.
Hopefully.
40
Well, it's
hours.
because I have to give 3 days or 3 days notice. So it's gotta actually be in the paper, and the paper doesn't always post.
Might take a day or 2.
well, you go to
Yeah.
columns and they, one hand
It's,
does
they
it,
only,
the other
they
one.
only post a couple days a week. That's the problem, is the Post-Star, any local paper, they don't post every day anymore. So it's, you're at the whim of,
We're
what
waiting
day is
for
it?
New York
Oh,
State to change
okay, well,
that
the
law
next post is until
for us.
Saturday, and it's gotta be 3 days from the time you post.
Yeah, it's almost, it's funny to say it, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, not 3 days. You're calling.
trustee Mentor, do you have anything for the board?
I do not.
Trustee Joe, do you have anything for the
No,
board?
no, not to hold it out.
Trustee Miller, do you have anything? No. Trustee Filomeno? No, huh? Okay, good. No, do you have anything?
Keith or
Great legs.
Tim?
Thank you. I'm gonna get him tan eventually.
Keith or Tim have anything to bring?
Tim, Keith, I think we kind of covered. Chief, you got anything?
Last winter, we talked a lot about, large events in the village. The next one that we have coming up is the 4th of July. any progress on any of that stuff?
Yes, I did. I met with Sheriff LaFar. He is going to have, I'll wait till you get a little closer. He's gonna have, every available officer hand directing traffic. He has a plan with the, sheriffs and in concert with the state police providing perimeter assistance. I think his thought is only right turns, just get out, don't make a left, because it takes, a long time. So if we can get and keep Canada Street clear, we can empty the village. He says within an hour. So I'm banking on it, and we've had a couple of conversations. I saw him as recently as today, but I saw him over the weekend on Saturday, and he said, Mayor, don't worry about it. I've got this under control. I've got a plan. We've had several meetings amongst the sheriff's department staff. Him and Terry assured me that they're gonna be able to empty the village in an hour. So, and last time we had fireworks on Friday, or the 4th of July fell on a Friday. It was chaos.
A long time.
It was 2.5 hours before, people got out of the village. I saw a guy order a pizza to his car.
The fire department will, of course, be having a standby that night also.
Oh, excellent.
And we're going to, most likely, not all night, but before before it gets dark and before the village really becomes populated of staging apparatus and people outside the village proper, along with some units inside the village. Like
Yeah.
We did this weekend, and something wrong?
No, he went out he can get out. He'll be okay.
So we'll be doing something similar with that also. We're also gonna, the time I have some repairs on the apparatus, it's gonna require it being out of town. It needs to go back to the dealer, which is west of Colony Center or whatever the big mall, and they go to exit 20 and
Mhm.
turn right for 10 miles or so out that way. And then, of course, we're still doing our big water drills over at the Legion, so.
Okay, it's working out over there at the Legion.
Well, to a degree, we raise some eyebrows whenever we're there, and we're requested to shut down the operations, which doesn't really allow us to follow through on what we had planned, but.
Full drill, right?
um,
I know Chris was looking into the pump we have up at both Chris's, Chris Buckley and Chris Andrews, we're gonna look into the one that we have up at the ball fields. To try to test that pump. That pump hasn't been run for fire flow.
Irrigation.
Yeah. Well, no, for the fire flow tests.
Yeah, but it's still the irrigation.
Yeah,
Just a different pump.
yeah. But we'll, hopefully we can conduct drills up there. That way the water's free. We're not sending treated water through. Down the drain.
We're off by ourselves, we're not being a nuisance to anyone else, and
Mhm.
we can, do our drills unimpeded, so.
Yeah.
It would really be, I know that, I sound like a broken record, but I can envision a lot of benefits in, us being able to get out there and get some big water, if you will,
Mhm.
down to practice these tactics and strategies and scenarios that we need to do, and it will become even more important with the advent of the new apparatus and which is gonna,
Gotta learn that truck. We don't know anything about it yet.
we're going to use even more water when we go to use them, so.
Yeah.
It might take a resolution from the village board here to say we gotta get it done. but,
Yeah. Okay.
I think Donnie has.
So Donnie, what you got?
So we have Don's, retirement party planned for July 4th,
Sweet.
4 to 6. I'll email everybody an invitation. If, maybe people can make a, even a quick appearance.
Mhm.
We're gonna do Hank Kruzanowski at the same time. He finally retired.
Did he really? God bless
Yeah,
him.
from the post office, and he does have some health concerns going on, so we want to make sure we recognize him as well that
Mhm.
same day. and it's our family picnic anyway on that day, so we know we'll have a lot of people there and our standby, of course, for Fourth of July, so we're kind of like mixing it all together, because we figured that way we would have the most amount of people. And we usually do it out in the bays anyway, so we figured 4 to 6 will let the people get in and get out before the fireworks and all the traffic gets too bad. But, so that's our plan. I know we're gonna reach out to like, Dan Stack and Matt Simpson and see if we can get, you know, some certificates
Mhm.
and things coming that way, and just try to make it as special as we can
Yeah, great idea.
for them. So if you have any other thoughts, let me know, but we're gonna send out, like, our normal thing for 4th of July is we come up with a core menu and then we send out an electronic form and see, you know, who wants to bring what salad wise, and then we fill in with whatever we're lacking.
We'll give Don a key to the city,
Yeah,
key to the village.
yeah, he's been good.
That's good.
He hasn't been too forgetful. I have to be a little warden to him, but he's
Oh,
been pretty good.
we appreciate it.
That's all.
All right. Sure. Yeah, since Jose said it's okay, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
So ordered. Thanks, everyone.